It's another incredible Night Talk Friday night free-for-all on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel.
Studio A, here's John McIntyre.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast live and in color from high atop Television Hill. Captain Dave manning the controls at the remote camera operating station. Richard Suffer and Succotash Sylvester in the control room, along with Eric, See You Later Gator, and Michelle, the Sweet Pickle Quickle, and somewhere in cyberspace, Jennifer on the Lamb Gam. And let's go live now, if my ears are correct, to the actual fireworks of Light Up Night. Yes, we take you to a live picture, do we, Dick? We don't take you? Yeah, we do. And look, you can't see nothing except a city that's got a lot of lights, so it really sort of loses something in the transition, doesn't it? I thought we were going to see fireworks. I hear the fireworks. Don't you hear the fireworks, Dick? Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Ann Baker is among the exciting free-for-all panelists tonight, the lovely and talented columnist, along with Kent the Shark Boy Gates, campaign manager for Jim Roddy. And then we also have the lovely and talented Lynn Cullen of WPTT Radio, talk radio icon, lo these many years in the city of Pittsburgh. We'll be talking about a number of things, including what idiots there are on the new county council who seem to want like new furniture or something, who seem to think they deserve nice digs just because they got some lame $9,000 a year elective office. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but you soon will. So we could just, you know, people see fireworks all the time. Maybe this is a bad idea, Dick. What do you think? Should we hold out? They're not going off yet? Then what do I hear? I hear booming in. You hear them, don't you? Definitely. They must just be in another part of the city. Oh, screw it. Let's take a break, and when we come back, meet our exciting Night Talk free-for-all panelists. Back in a moment on Night Talk.
The official transportation provider of Night Talk is Pittsburgh Limousine. Whether it's for business or a special night on the town, Pittsburgh Limousine is the one clear choice in transportation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Got every vote here.
I think I did. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking live at the fireworks that belong to the incredible celebration known as Light Up Night. But you know, the thing is, we have a sound effects machine that does fireworks sound effects, and that's what you're hearing because we can't actually, like, we don't have a mic at the fireworks. But so I want to be completely ethical and above board. Yeah. That's pretty good. We wouldn't have known, though, would you have?
I don't know. It sounds like Bosnia or something 3 years ago. I don't know. I'm sure you got the right tape in there.
All right. So Ruth Ann Baker, one of our exciting. Let's introduce our exciting Night Talk free-for-all panelist, columnist Ruth Ann Baker, who's writing for anybody she can get her hands on. So there's something like that. Kent the Shark Boy Gates, mastermind of the Roddy victory over Dr. Wecht, who I still haven't been able to find. And the lovely and talented Lynn Cullen of WPTT Radio every day from noon to 3, talk radio icon, lo these many years in this here market of Pittsburgh. So how you guys doing? Good.
Good. Thank you.
So did you hear about these mutton heads on the county council who are expecting like cool digs? They want big offices or something. They toured the county commission facilities and they want their own offices. And one of them, this guy Dave Fawcett, he was on the show earlier in the week, he said that the Gold Room, which is I guess where Dunn and Cranmer and DeWitt met, there was no grandeur about it. It wasn't good enough.
No dignity.
No,
yeah.
No,
I didn't hear this.
This $9,000 a year twit, if you will, no, with all due respect, Dave, if you're out there.
I think there was no respect there at all.
Well, no, there's a little. No, he's a nice guy. But, I mean, why don't these people, that's what tonight's scintillating commentary is about, by the way.
This does not bode well, does it?
Why don't they shut up and stop worrying about office space and, like, try to learn something?
I think they have to prove something first before we really shell out the big bucks. Don't you think?
Lord, what do you mean? The Gold Room has served this county well enough. I mean, it's a room. What does he want? Chandeliers? What kind? Who is he? He's the
one of the at-large people.
The Democrat at large.
No, he's a Republican.
He's a Republican at large.
Republican.
Not making a good first impression.
No.
Well, Jumpin' Johnny, I think, also wants nice office space.
Jumpin' Johnny,
to be fair.
To match
He's
his
the Democratic
glasses.
at large.
He's
Exactly.
got the fancy glasses happening there.
But this guy actually happens to speak for Jim Roddy. Maybe we can ask him what he thinks of all of this.
Oh, listen, you know, I mean, I think there's a concern of where they're going to meet and how they're going to actually formalize into session. The Gold Room, there are some plans by the Pedestrian Landmarks Foundation to actually convert the Gold Room into a council chamber, and Mr. Roddy is looking at some private funding sources to make that happen.
I'm even disappointed that, I applaud Mr. Roddy. Do you still call him Mr. Roddy? You can't call him like Jimbo, or after all this time, you helped him win the campaign? He's not like Jimmy Jim, Jim Marie?
The Honorable.
The Honorable.
Although he likes Ace, which was your
I called him Ace.
Allegheny County Executive.
Oh,
Ace.
That was your.
it wasn't mine. It was not mine. I
Anyway.
cannot claim that. That was Brian Abzanka's.
Oh, was it your producer
Yeah.
from, yeah.
Right.
But, so is it, even though that's great that he doesn't want to use taxpayers' money and that he would rather raise private funds, why should he or anybody else in your administration waste a moment of time raising private funds for
about it.
these people?
Well, I
Who are
mean,
these people?
they need a permanent place to meet, and
But
whether
they
or
don't
not
meet
they need
permanently, they meet part-time. I think they need half a desk. I mean,
Oh, I don't think they were complaining about where they were physically going to be in the
I
courthouse.
thought they were.
They were
That's the
complaining.
impression I got.
They're complaining about where they're actually going to meet in session. They meet twice a month in session.
they were
wait,
complaining that it wasn't nice enough, that the room wasn't
How
nice
many
enough.
of them are there?
There's 15.
50. You stick out a little table. You stick out another little table. They could be facing each other. You get 15 little chairs. They sit down. What is
Don't
the
you want
big
to see him
to-do?
getting little student chairs
I mean,
with that
not-
half
yeah.
desk coming around there?
There's no reason why it can't be a nice desk and nice chairs, but this is the kind of thing that drives
Right.
the people nuts.
I agree.
Thank you very much.
I agree, and that's why it's important that there's no taxpayer money that was spent on this.
So is it going to be your job to go like begging Mr. Hines and Mr. other rich people to
no.
put up money?
Yeah, but so can you imagine what the thought process would be for a private individual to say, yeah, I think they need some chandeliers?
No, not chandeliers. I mean, just conversion of practical space. I mean, that just like the actual conversion to a table and that kind of stuff. Not
How about
Conversion
cubicles?
to a
How about
table.
cubicles?
What is the big thing? You just put a table
It's a
on.
metric thing.
Dividers.
It's a metric
Just
thing.
divide up the gold room.
That's right.
That's
give
it.
everybody their own equal space.
Exactly.
Have they read Dilbert? I think this is what we're going for.
All right.
You know, I don't want to plug anything, but I saw this thing. Belmont Furniture. The guy's retiring. They're having a nice sale. You go over there.
could go down there?
It's close. It's right down the street, and they can just roll them right down. There won't be any moving costs.
We got some campaign furniture we could probably
The
unload. I
Benicia
don't know.
School District was getting, it was like $7 for those little real old-fashioned wooden
little
ones
desk,
with the half
yeah.
arm.
Yeah.
I wanted to go stock up.
That is
Little
a
link
cool idea,
wells and
actually.
stuff.
Yeah,
I think Jumpin' Johnny would look really cute in one of those. So,
that is kind of frightening, though.
Well, I think this. I mean, these people are just trying to feel their way. What is their role? Where are they going to be? And
no, they're trying to say, do I have a view? Do I have a cool desk? Do I have a cool space?
What's the pecking
Yeah,
order? Is
yeah.
my
Right.
seat better than his
Yeah, this
seat?
is
I
a
have.
big
This
move
does not
right off
bode
the
well.
bat.
They're, I guess, not supposed to know anything yet because they're just getting started. But both Jumpin' Johnny and Dave Fawcett were here Tuesday, and they just didn't seem to have any idea. And maybe I probably wouldn't either. But I mean, they seem to have no idea what was ahead, what they're supposed to do, what's next. Just nothing. I mean, do any of them?
Yeah,
Is it just because it's
I
new?
need it
Is
for
that normal
everybody.
to be expected, or should they?
yeah, I mean, this is a whole new form of government. I think that's to be expected.
All right.
Obviously, there are some people in that council that have been involved in county politics for a while.
All right, what about, quickly segueing, what about same-sex benefits? As you know, the legislature snuck through some sort of a bill to try to outlaw them at publicly funded institutions, and this way the University of Pittsburgh wouldn't have to worry about the lawsuit?
And not to outlaw them.
No? I thought it was
wasn't it just to allow each institution not to be beholden to, like, the city
To any
statute?
local ordinance that
Yeah.
would require
Oh, all
them to
right.
give
Yeah.
health benefits.
So in effect to overrule the City of Pittsburgh ordinance, which arguably might require the University of Pittsburgh to hand out same-sex
For a
benefits.
state-funded institution.
Right, and in fact
Right.
it doesn't. And in fact the idiotic stealth legislation that they passed in the dead of night, despite the fact they're supposed to be a representational government and none of us knew anything about it, no public hearings were ever held. It is the very kind of thing that makes people very cynical about their so-called representative government. It won't hold. It won't work.
They're a bunch of
and
ostriches.
the tide of history, the inexorable march of time, is on the side of those who want equal benefits for equal work.
The homos are coming.
Gosh.
And I say that with all due respect.
It devolves.
They're here. They're here
it
now.
devolves completely
What are you
on the
looking at me like that for?
definition of marriage. The problem.
That's right.
The problem that I have in the coverage of the issue, which has most notably been in the Post-Gazette and not in the Tribune Review, is that they've failed in most of their articles to point out that Pitt doesn't offer benefits to domestic partners, whether it's same-sex or opposite sex. It's just marriage. and not marriage. So they don't extend it. It's disingenuous at best to paint this just as an issue about same-sex benefits. Pitt doesn't extend them if you're not married. So the question will be, does Pitt have, or any other institution have the right to say, we view marriage as it's currently defined as something different from every other arrangement that there might be, and we choose to recognize it in this way. Right now, most of society, the majority of us still go with the Pitt position.
And in fact, though, we have had public hearings on, what constitutes marriage, and the legislature and the Congress has spoken, in the Defense of Marriage Act in this state.
The Defense of Marriage Act, which was sponsored by Bob Barr, who's been married 3 times, for heaven's sakes. The hypocrisy of it is sickening.
The point being, though, whether or not this was done at the last minute, this was an add-on in defense. There was a state law passed on the Defense of Marriage.
So you don't like gay people either?
Defense of marriage. What is it we need to defend marriage against? May I ask? Oh, heavens, it's only for us and not for them. They can't do it, only we can. Now, wait a minute. Just a minute. Let me suggest this. What Pitt has done is decided that the criteria that they will use to decide which one of their employees is going to be able to benefit in their domestic arrangements by getting these health benefits, they have decided that the criterion will be marriage. This is correct? We all agree with that. Okay, guess what? The same law that you've been talking about, the government will not allow people whose orientation is same-sex, homosexuals, to marry. Thus, they are in a total catch-22. If you decide that the only way you can get these benefits is to be married, and then you say, and you cannot be married, then you are saying that we are promulgating these benefits on a...
That's a debate for the legislature, not Pitt, though.
No, it's not.
It is a moral issue. It is a moral
you would
issue.
debate it in the legislature, not in the University of Pittsburgh.
From the right religious side, you can argue it morally from a human side. It is wrong.
But that is a debate that we should have in the legislature, not at the University of Pittsburgh.
Wrong.
And that's what the legislature enacted on,
Well, we can have a debate everywhere, though, right? Wherever we choose to have debates.
Why does Pitt need to hide behind the skirts of the little jerks in Harrisburg who go around in the dead of night without holding public hearings on an issue like this?
But this
was a done deal. This was the boys calling the boys and saying, let's take care of this.
This wasn't just about University of Pittsburgh. There were other institutions around the state.
No, I would agree with that.
Getting them off the hook.
Am I wrong that it's a head-in-the-sand mentality? They're all ostriches and they want all the gay people to go away, and they can't face the fact that the gay people won't go away because they're everywhere.
I don't think that's the case.
They're everywhere.
How come almost now the majority of Fortune 500 companies have same-sex benefits? Because they're all crazed liberals? Because they're run by, as you say, homos? No.
That's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a joke.
I understand.
All right.
They do because they want to get and attract and hold the best people. They are not so stupid, making decisions based only on their bottom line, to say to people, we'll let you work here, but we're not going to give you benefits, okay? Because after all, we don't like who you're sleeping with. They're not crazy. Now, for
they never said they wouldn't give them benefits. They just wouldn't give their partner benefits. there was never a exclusion of the employee having benefits.
No, it's just it's exclusion of their life partner. Because they didn't choose the right one.
That's not. That's not necessary.
Ruth, I like who you're sleeping with. Your anchorman husband, Scott Baker, is a swell guy. But before we go to break, do you want to add anything on this, or do you want me to wait till we come back from break?
No, I said at the outset that it devolves on how we choose to define marriage, and that's a question for the whole society and, again, through our representative governments to decide. And right now, the majority opinion still resides with marriage is different from other domestic arrangements. It's a heterosexual union that is the best arrangement for raising children.
That is a religious definition.
It's not the only arrangement, but the best one, and that society chooses to recognize it as something distinct and other. And that's recognized then by the institutions in which we live.
I feel like there are more gay people every year, and I'm just wondering how they're multiplying. But when we come back, more Night Talk free for all night. Stay with us. Back on Night Talk, it's free for all night. Columnist Ruth Ann Baker, campaign shark boy Kent Gates, and radio talk show host extraordinaire Lynn Cullen are here. So, Pokemon, I have kept myself purposely ignorant about it. I'm on a, I don't know if I call it, I'm fasting, or I'm dieting. I'm just doing whatever I can to stay away from learning about Pokemon because I'm trying not to
Why?
be sucked in.
Yeah.
What is-
why?
what is
It'll
it?
strictly be on a need
You don't know what
to
it is
basis.
either.
I have no idea.
All right, but you guys know what it is.
Well,
'cause
we
you have a
live
son and you have kids.
we live with
Little
young
children.
boys.
So you've
Did you
been
go to the
forced
movie yet?
I managed to avoid the movie, but he's been twice. I will not go.
Oh, I took my kids, we had poke flu. I took them out of school early to go to the movie.
Ruth, man, I am shocked. I am really shocked.
Best mom. Thank you very much.
I mean, they must love you.
Yeah.
Until they failed that
That
test.
sounds like highly irresponsible because you're highly responsible, aren't
Every
you?
once in a while, you have to
Why
be
did they
really
have to be-
irresponsible.
You are kidding. I'm
No,
shocked.
because the first day was the day that you got the collector's cards, and we couldn't go to the later show because we had Bible club. So I'm like, school? Huh. Bible club, poke, maybe some school.
All right, so it's like a Japanese pocket monster?
Yeah, it's on the little Game Boy. Pocket Monster is what it stands for. And
Okay.
you play this game. You collect the cards, each trading card for one of the 151 little beasts on the game.
So there are
You can play the
151 little
card
pocket
game.
monsters? Mm-hmm. And they're all Asian?
Well,
some
Japanese.
sinister plot and
Yes,
they're going to
yes,
take
they've
over
invaded.
and-
Like there's anything left to invade.
Well, that's a good
As
point.
So
if
you
we
take
had a
them. You
culture.
take them from Pokemon to Bible study. That's a very good.
I try to cover all the
I
bases.
guess.
All right, so is it, I guess it's nothing to fear. It's just a typical cultural phenomenon. We'll all waste a
No,
lot
as
of
a
money
matter
on
of
it.
fact, this is the kind of thing
Very
where, you know,
expensive.
be careful what you wish for. If you wish this to be gone, God knows what's coming after it. I mean, it's just, you know, it's a constant, incessant,
It's a marketing scheme to make
marketing.
money.
Oh, we've spent
They-
hundreds of dollars.
That's what I say, it's
on-
expensive?
Oh, one of the most sought after card, Charizard's worth $50 now, and you can buy it on eBay. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
we have little friends at school who've decided to sell their cards on eBay because they got it for $35.
What is
and they
worth
need it for-
$50?
The Charizard card.
Geez, maybe my kids got one.
$50. Could that so
We
it could
have-
be a collector's
Well,
item
what do
in
you
like
mean?
5
It's worth
years,
50
right?
bucks
Worth
if,
500.
if it's worth $50 to some idiot, will give you $50.
And that's the going rate now. Yeah,
On eBay.
some idiots will give you $50 for it, and kids have that much to spend because
Well, where are the
we
kids
give them
getting
the
this money? Where are they getting the money?
From
Ruth
me.
Ann.
From me.
So you have nieces and nephews. Though.
I
What
do.
if they want Uncle Kent to get them a little Pokemon?
They've already called. Don't worry.
And asked you?
They've already
I have
called.
a really
to
good
take them to-
supplier.
I'm not buying them
You
any
need a
of this.
dealer?
No?
Got
No
a
way.
dealer.
That's mean. You're a
This is
mean
like
Uncle Kent.
No,
That's
I'm
what
not.
they want.
No, I'm not.
Why not?
I'll take them somewhere else and I'll buy them something else. But I'm not going to take them.
Come
Nope.
on. This is
Have a
like
heart.
not getting him
Be
a
a pal.
G.I. Joe or, you know, baseball cards back in the 50s.
It's nothing sinister. It's just silly.
All right, let's move on to another topic, shall we? Hey, did you
You're
hear?
so smooth tonight.
There's this new WQED talk show, magazine show.
What's it called? Q-tip.
On Q, yeah.
Oh, on
Q-tip. It is. Yeah, it's called earwax. Every night.
Yes, I knew it was Q something. Excuse me. On Q.
It's on
That's a good
Q,
idea.
and the three hosts were supposed to be on here last night, but then Stacy Smith, like the big shot anchor guy at one of them channels,
They burned ya.
he couldn't show up all of a sudden, so we canceled the other two. And what's up with that? Isn't that why can't? I thought PBS was supposed to be the groovy station that welcomed all people, and so.
Well, obviously it is because they take. Oh, you mean they only take people from that station?
No, well, actually, I didn't mean that, although it is true, I guess, that it's sort of KD.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. You know, I worked
Yeah.
at that station for a while.
At KDK,
Actually, I worked
yes,
at
you
all
did.
those stations. I worked
Right.
at every station in town.
They keep throwing you out.
Yes, they do. But what's interesting is almost the entire management there is all from.
Right.
Well, they were
that
touting
station,
that.
big
They
one.
were touting that in the news coverage. Like, there's such a crossover. Like, 3 of the producers used to work at KDKA.
Everybody.
The one
Right.
that killed me was the quote about how the KD demographics are the most closely related to the QED demographics, the audience. And I was thinking, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Isn't there
either.
some FCC violation about, 2 television stations that are in fact one? Shouldn't the public station be a mixture, a wonderful absorption of multicultural, liberal crap? Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
Well, hopefully not
Yeah,
just liberal.
crap,
Hopefully
yeah.
not just liberal.
Whatever
Not just
you-
liberal? I thought that was the nature of public broadcasting. I thought that was the whole rap on it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Anyway, all right, who cares about that? Let's take a break, and when we come
don't
back,
care.
really good topics, I swear to God, on Night Talk Free for All Night. Stay with us on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel. Back on Night Talk on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel, have you heard about the movie called Dogma? It is some sort of satire which pokes fun at religion, and critics have been arguing specifically the Catholic Church. Much of it was shot right here in the city of Pittsburgh. I haven't seen it yet, but some Catholic leaders from what you read are already up in arms. And I say it's time for these religious people to have a sense of humor, lighten up. They're just poking fun at you. If the Catholic religion can't survive one lousy movie, then it ain't much of a religion.
My understanding is that the movie does not poke fun at the Catholic religion, that it actually, and a local priest went to the preview and wrote a glowing report after seeing it.
That was Father Benz, right? No, Father Lingwin? Sorry. What father was it?
Whoops. It's a parish priest here that did go, and he did say that he found it a faith-based movie, and Kevin Smith, who did it, will tell you it's a faith-based movie. I know my sister and her husband have seen it. She says it's clearly a faith-based movie.
Say that 3 times real fast.
Faith-based movie, faith-based movie, faith-based movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lynn Cullen. That's really good. So maybe there's much ado about nothing. Have you guys heard anything about it? Are your friends seeing it? Did your relatives like it?
They thought it was a sort of a cute little movie that really was not worthy of all this attention one way or the other.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was
the real high-minded reviewers. You know, the New York Times, the New Yorker magazine, they've all said the same thing.
Yeah,
much to do about not so much.
Fine. It's a nice little movie, makes a little bit of a point for young people who maybe are having difficulty accessing religion on their level. It really might it actually might make a 20-something who's not in the habit of thinking about these issues, might make them think, hey, maybe there is something in church for me. I mean, this is why
I think they just would go to see if Alanis Morissette is naked in this, like she is in her
That's
video.
more likely.
She's God, you know, she's
likely.
God in the movie.
But is she naked in the movie?
I don't know because I haven't seen it, but
No, I
I'm
wanna go
doubting
see
no.
Yeah.
Does God wear clothes? I don't know.
That's an excellent
Does
question.
he need
does
clothes?
God have a body?
Does God look like Alanis Morissette?
I hope not. Would someone wash her hair? Okay.
I interviewed Melanie Kanakaridis today, you know, the star of Providence.
Yeah.
She has Alanis Morissette-like hair.
You say her name
much
3
prettier.
times.
Kanakaridis.
Because hers
That's only
actually,
because I practiced it all day so I wouldn't screw it up in the interview. I'm sorry.
no, she has much prettier hair. She would
You're
slap you if she heard you say that, I think. Well, she's
Melina?
too polite to slap you, yeah, but
Yeah, not necessarily.
that's not a compliment.
It's not a compliment to say...
To say that she has Alanis Morissette
Oh,
hair.
I'm with you, okay.
Yeah.
So what about...
Are you getting a little thin over there, isn't it?
I thought we'd just take off on this dogma thing and write it home somewhere. By the way, these 20-somethings, they don't think too much. You know, he's only 29 years old, this shark
Yeah,
boy
well,
here.
he's almost 30-something.
Exactly, he's pushing
Yeah, but
30.
the campaign aged you how many years?
Oh, no, not at all.
In Dogma years, how old
I
are
have
you?
no idea. I haven't seen the movie.
Has anybody shopped for the holidays yet? Are you actually going to use the internet? Are you last minute?
Oh, yeah, you know what? I tried to shop on the internet tonight.
And?
And try www.toysrus.com because I had a little thing that said $10 off if you order.
Oh,
but yeah,
online, that's right.
guess what? I've tried 3 times. Guess what you get every time? That stupid giraffe of theirs comes up and says, "Wow, we have too many guests on our site. Please come back some other time."
So it's just like it might as well be a busy signal.
Well, it's just maddening. It's maddening. So then I tried another toy thing, and that turned into a nightmare too. So I'm thinking
Have you tried the one that's advertising all the time? Remember the one?
the KB toys.
There's one
or
where there's
e-toys.
an ad. It must be e-toys.
I've
They go
done all
through the
of them.
rainbow-colored car wash, and then the
No,
guy.
that I don't
the
remember.
dad
I spend
goes
too much
home.
time on the internet. This is scary.
No, I spend too much time watching TV. I know the ads, but I haven't
So,
logged on.
I really thought that was the way to go, but obviously the merchants aren't ready for the customers. There's far more of us out there apparently willing to give it a try, but I mean, if you go and they can't even let you in, something's wrong.
I bought like one book on the internet once. That's the extent of my internet shopping experience. Are you a big internet
I
shopper?
bought Cyril Wex books on the internet.
Did you really? You did not.
I did.
Did you get
Seriously?
them autographed, honey?
No.
Oh.
Do you know my girlfriend and I had the book about John Benet Ramsey, and there was like a dozen typos in there. I mean, she told me. I didn't read it.
But you did
But isn't
interview
that
him about
sloppy?
it, didn't
Yes, I did. And so, are you a big internet shopper?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I've
So-
done tickets, airplane tickets on the internet. I've done toys once, and I've been very happy when I've been able to get through.
I think everybody should just go downtown and shop. I was there tonight for Light Up
Was
Night.
it cool?
Yeah, it was really, really cool. I have my official bracelet right here, which glows in the dark. We
If
could all
had somebody
huddle
at the
around,
lights, yeah.
and you can see that it still goes in the dark.
Yeah.
But I parked under the New Lazarus. How long can we call it the New Lazarus? How old?
I think it's
shop at the
over.
Yeah, it's my understanding you can actually
Yes,
park
that's
in...
my point.
Yeah.
I love to shop at that Lazarus, and I'm the only person in Pittsburgh who does.
But
Why
maybe
do
if they
people
let
not
you
go
park
downstairs?
There's
It's
never
so much
anybody
nicer.
in there, and I found that parking lot.
It's a great lot.
Yeah, but then I think everybody found it. Yeah.
You know what it is
it's
now?
clean, It's white. You can eat off the floor of that parking lot.
And from now through January 1st, from 4 p.m. every day, it's $1 to park there. Why would you shop anywhere else?
Why would you shop anywhere else?
Why would you shop anywhere else?
But I don't even understand that. The whole downtown. I love to go downtown. I love to be there. But even the whole, what is it with Pittsburghers? Because I'm still a relative newcomer, having been here 6 years.
Yeah, but you're
It's a suburban town, and they shut down
Well-
at 5 o'clock, and they all go to the suburbs.
But even when they're down there, they choose that nasty old Kaufman's over the brand new gorgeous Lazarus. I don't get that.
Maybe if they let people park in the Lazarus, since there's plenty of room, and it's not like you're going to hit anybody.
Drive-through shopping, that's better than online.
park in the women's handbag section, yeah,
Yes.
there's not a crowd.
So how about that nutty Jesse Jackson fellow?
How about him?
He goes down to Central Illinois from Chicago, Illinois, and he says you ought to let these African-American kids back into school because 2 years is an excessive punishment for fighting. And so they cut a deal, and the Governor Ryan of Illinois, they cut a deal. They were going to let him only be suspended for 1 year and go to an alternative school in the interim. But no, that's not good enough for Jesse, and he's still fighting to basically get him in as soon as possible.
I don't think anyone's going to argue with you.
I haven't even taken a position.
Well,
on it yet.
the very way you put I mean,
How
come
about
on.
Jesse?
I think
My mother lives in the vicinity, and she's hopping mad at Jesse. She's never been a big Jesse fan.
I mean, you get a feeling of both sides sort of digging in their heels, although I think he picked really the wrong... I mean,
He was looking for a cause.
He picked the wrong week to stop.
this is ridiculous.
They
Although
were fighting.
the initial 2-year expulsion, I think, was a bit much. I really do. But their pullback position was reasonable, and for him to still be haranguing about it is ridiculous.
Is he, and these parallels to, I mean, I believe he's made, tried to make the analogy,
Selma.
right, to Selma.
Ridiculous.
And it is ridiculous.
Right.
He's out there looking for a cause, and he doesn't have one right now.
So is he sincere, and he's just a little off, or is he full of it, and we ought to think that about him?
Well, it's been a while since he made headlines. Last time was praying with the mass murderers over there in Bosnia, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
but every once in a while he gets an American hostage out somewhere,
Yeah,
so
he
he
did that.
seems to serve a useful purpose.
After the prayer circle. See,
Was that-
prayer works.
There-
And it had been a while since he'd been in the news.
That's true. So maybe that's it.
Maybe his press agent told him it was time to get back in the news.
All right, so much for the Jesse yammering. Let's come back on Night Talk Free for All Night with our incredible panelists and talk about why you'll just have to wait and see. There's a page turner or something like that. Back on Night Talk, it's Free for All Night with columnist Ruth N. Baker, Kent the Shark Boy, campaign genius Gates, and Lynn Cullen of WPTT Radio, the talk show host extraordinaire. So in Mount Lebanon, some poor high school girl, she walks across the street, and a crosswalk, a marked crosswalk, a car hits her, and they give the girl a ticket for jaywalking. She's injured. She has to go to the hospital. She's going to be okay. She survives. But the cops gave the girl a ticket for jaywalking.
Was she jaywalking?
More evidence of the death of common sense.
Now, you started out by saying it was in a crosswalk. Was it, or was it jaywalking?
Exactly. I don't see how they could give her
No,
a
I
ticket
don't
for
think the ticket was
jaywalking.
for jaywalking.
What was it for?
I don't know exactly what you call it, but
Well,
I think
they
it
did
was,
ticket her for something.
I think
they gave her a
the
ticket.
feeling is that she exhibited bad judgment and that the car was almost there, and
Oh, yeah,
for
she
her
stepped out in front of it.
She stepped out in front of the car.
The police
But isn't
definitely
that
ticketed her.
Isn't that the very definition of adding insult to injury?
Now wait a
Bingo.
minute. Have you ever driven down Forbes Avenue in Oakland, with the college kids walking right out in front of you? They don't have the right of way. I've often thought, these jerks.
I know. It's tempting. It's tempting.
They don't know who they're messing with.
Who do they know is in any
So
of these cars?
you are
They actually
advocating
think-
road rage and hitting people.
Well, all I know is that if they get hit, it will be their fault.
I would agree with that. But doesn't the pedestrian always have the right of way? How can they give her a ticket?
But if you did knock some of them over and they were injured, would you then want them ticketed as well? Go ahead.
Right.
No, go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
They got to the hospital fine, and maybe the driver, he doesn't get a ticket, fine.
She probably already learned her lesson. I mean, if she did something wrong, I mean, that was...
When I was...
Yeah, but now, wait a minute. It just occurred to me. Excuse me.
That's all right.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's a fascinating story. I'll save it
But
for a
isn't
moment.
the car that hit her, it was driven by a young girl herself. I think a relatively young girl, 16, 17-year-old. Do you not think, doesn't matter how old she was, if you hit somebody with your car, you would be traumatized? I mean, that is a horrible thing. So there's two victims here. If in fact the
Oh, man,
car...
wait, no. I'd much rather be in the car.
No.
I would much rather be in the car,
She's
the hitter than the hittee.
traumatized too.
Oh, poor moo. She hit somebody with her car.
All right,
a
so
big,
they got...
huge piece of metal.
Okay, so the only...
When I was 10 years old...
And the woman wasn't it was seriously hurt. I mean,
I got to
she
tell
was-
this damn anecdote, Buster. When I was 10 years old, I drew a mermaid, and Keith Ball drew breasts on the mermaid. So my teacher didn't like that and wanted me to stay after school, so I forgot to stay after school. So the next day, she wanted to give me swats because I didn't stay after school. So I ran out of the room because even in my little 10-year-old mind, I thought, this is unjust. I merely forgot it. You should make me stay after school. I don't deserve swats. So I ran out in the middle of the street, boom, got hit by a car. Boom. All I had was a broken blood vessel in my knee, 4 hours in the
what
hospital.
happened to you.
Right. I come back to school the next day.
explains
They
so
gave
much.
me the swats. They didn't. I hadn't learned my lesson by getting hit by the car.
Was it a Catholic school?
They gave me. No, it was a public school.
This actually
in Kankakee, Illinois, the worst place to live in the United States of America, which is a good segue, unless you want to say something.
Well, this explains all of your philosophical hang-ups, because really the source of all of this was breasts.
But I did not
And,
draw
you
the
know,
breasts. It was Keith Ball who drew the breasts.
But you didn't mind them.
No, because I thought it completed the mermaid, but I was
think it
afraid to draw
explains
them myself.
everything.
What a Kankakee, you said it, the worst place, and it was a perfect segue to what?
My hometown is Kankakee, Illinois, and in this most recent survey, which I heard you talk about on the radio, of the best and worst places to live in the country, the worst in the country, according to this survey, is Kankakee, Illinois, where my parents still live,
And
where
you concur,
my son lives. Actually, it is a pretty dumpy place to live now. It was beautiful when I was growing up, and it went to hell.
Now, here's what I'd like to know.
But you are correct. Yes, I did leave.
Okay.
But,
Here's what I'd like to know. Okay, so who was the best city last year? It was like, I don't know. Let's say Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta.
It's often Atlanta or Raleigh.
Okay,
or,
let's just say it's Atlanta. Atlanta's number one. Oh, it was around there. It was 1 or it was 2. This year, it's like 28. Now I ask
What
you,
happened?
in 12 months,
Yeah.
what could have happened? Which just goes to show you that these lists are totally bogus, unless, of course, your city comes out on top.
Do you think they roll dice? I mean, you think
I don't know
it's
what
really
the
like,
heck
we
they
need to
do.
give somebody else some promo this year, let's boost Savannah?
It's a way for them, who gives the list, is this Rand McNally again, to
I-
up their
it wasn't Rand
profile in
McNally,
whatever
but some-
market
yeah.
they want to give the
And several
kudos
different
to.
groups do the lists now, too.
It's just
Everybody's got a list.
It's a marketing scheme.
Yeah.
It's a PR thing.
And what if you like a bad restaurants and a lot of dumpy-looking people with overalls? Then Kankakee is your place. You know, then your quality of life is huge.
I'm there.
Shouldn't say that.
It's a good name.
It is, isn't it, though? Yes.
Kankakee.
No,
Is
it sounds like a...
Is it Indian?
It's an Indian name. It means, God, don't let me die here. At least that's how I always interpreted it. All right, let's take a break. One more exciting segment of Night Talk Free for All Night on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel. Stay with us. Back in a moment.
Airport. The official transportation provider of Night Talk is Pittsburgh Limousine, the one clear choice in transportation.
Coming out of them, like a big...
Back on Night Talk, it's Free for All Night. We're in the middle of discussing an oft-discussed subject in Pittsburgh. Why are Pittsburghers so fascinated? I mean, transfixed. I'm talking about mesmerized. I mean, they're worshiping it like it's a religious icon. Fireworks. Why is that? Do you have any theories?
You
It's
can
amazing.
finally see the sky. It's great looking. Who doesn't like fireworks? There were 2 displays tonight, because I saw them right before 7 o'clock. I was at the Gateway Plaza, and it was really great. And they had that shooting fireball that lights up the big Christmas tree.
Santa was like throwing fireballs.
Yes,
I heard.
he
What the hell
did.
kind of a lesson is that for the
And
kids?
he sang
Why
carols.
is Santa
and-
throwing fire? Santa's a pyromaniac. Watch the fun.
No, he
What is
didn't
up with
actually
that?
throw them. But
Well, I
they
figured it.
did cross the like a transom wire thingy over his head, and then they hit the sides of skyscrapers, and my kids were like, won't it explode? It was really neat. It was cool. Who doesn't like that?
I've never seen you so
Scaring children
enthusiastic
with
about
fireballs.
anything. That's cool. Scaring children, yes.
That's a nice trick.
All right, so you guys are not obsessed with fireworks.
I don't get it. I mean, when I moved here, every single event has fireworks. I mean, I live downtown in Pennsylvania. I mean, every time there's a home run at Three Rivers, I hear fireworks go off.
Why didn't you have any when Roddy won? You should have had some
We
fireworks.
should have had fireworks.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
There's the inaugural. You still have time to pull that together.
Fireworks at the soup kitchen?
Fireworks.
Yeah, by the way, he's having his inaugural at the soup kitchen?
It's
Not-
at
it's
the
not a
greater.
food kitchen,
It's
it's a
at the.
food
It's at the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank,
Okay.
which is the new facility on the old USX steel plant in Duquesne, and it's an RIDC park now. Jim's been very active in raising money for their facility, and I think it shows a message of inclusion, economic development for the whole region.
Since he named David Matter, who, as you know, is Clinton's old college roommate and a friend of Clinton, as
And he slept in the Lincoln bedroom more than once.
really?
David Matter, yes, told me himself.
Does that mean Clinton is going to be the new county manager?
That will not happen.
No?
No.
Because he's got some time in his hands, and he meets the qualifications. He's got experience in local government.
That's right.
He knows how to be a liaison among disparate parties. Come on.
He'd be perfect.
Yeah.
He has not applied, and I don't think that he'll be applying for
No?
the job. No.
All right.
Low below his
Bummer.
He's got to find some place to live.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Cyril had proposed that intern program had he been elected, so that would fit nicely. I mean, if you're... Are you going to bring Cyril into the government? Will he do anything?
Well, he is in the government.
Well, yeah, all right, he's the coroner. But I mean, into your new administration, you're going to ask him to chair a committee on cutting up dead people, or I don't know, whatever. What do you think he'd be
I
useful
don't
for?
know. I mean, we really haven't had any contact.
Fireworks.
Watch him go hum the there. He's afraid to say anything.
It's a little premature for that.
Yeah.
What's your position in the new administration?
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Well, so technically you're out of work right now. 'Cause
I
you were
am-
the campaign
he's the
manager.
transition
Done.
boy.
Oh,
I
you are?
am still a paid staffer of the Roddy 2000.
I see.
How about them Stillers?
How about
I know you like
What about
football.
them?
They lost 15-14 to the Cleveland Browns. I was at the game. I was just dumbfounded. I was dumbstruck. Everybody stood up. They started walking away. I'm like, it's over? We lost? It couldn't happen. It was a nightmare. What can we
What
do
are we
about that?
supposed to say about that? I mean, what are you supposed to say?
I don't know. Should we dump Cordell?
Win
Should
some,
we bench
lose some.
Cordell?
Forgive me for not
Do we
being
care?
totally on top of the news, but I heard some news show teasing the fact that post-game that some people from the Steelers organization had some stern words for Pittsburgh fans, and then I never heard what those were.
That's true. A couple of the football
critical.
players, the new receiver,
Levon
Troy
Kirkland?
Edwards.
Levon Kirkland, I think, was one.
No, I don't
No?
think so. Only because Levon comes here and he can beat me up.
Oh,
He does
okay.
a weekly show here, so we have to lay off him. But Troy Edwards was essentially saying that the fans are mean to Cordell and that they shouldn't boo him when he does something lousy, but then cheer him when he does something great.
Don't you think our people turn really fast?
Yeah, they're fair weather fans, but I think that's the nature of sports fans.
I think that they've
Wrong
been...
is the nature of these sports fans, and I think they're very wrong. If you're a fan of a team, you don't turn on the team when the team's having trouble. If anything, you're there for them more than ever. And if Cordell Stewart, if you look at his record, he's doing abysmally in Three Rivers Stadium.
Yes.
He is doing fine when he plays away. Now, it could be having a psychological effect on him, throws him off when those boos start up, and they end up hurting the very team they purport to be behind. And I think it's outrageous. Such a thing as sitting on your hands. Somebody said, maybe we should all be eyeball rollers. That's better, roll your eyeballs. That won't get to the... It's not a fan. That is not a fan. That is truly a fair weather fan.
I agree that the fans are hard on Cordell, but Pittsburgh has the most loyal sports fans of any city.
Oh, every city.
No, they
says
don't.
that.
No,
Oh.
they don't. They
Excuse me.
they will all be there. They will all. It's all right. Flaherty's already done it. They will all be there. They will all be there next week cheering them on. The worst sports fans is Philadelphia. I mean, you know,
And they're much worse boo birds than...
Oh,
they're
yeah.
aw- they are awful. The fans
Listen,
in
they
Philly.
booed Santa Claus one year because he didn't hit the
Right.
mark whenever he flew in. I mean, they're just awful. Cordell has not played very well, and I think that the fans have given him a lot.
You know
of
what the fans say? He isn't playing well. You've got to let him know he's not playing well. Like hello.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. How helpful is it to ridicule him, to get on his back? It doesn't seem to work. When they
No,
do,
I'll
he
say
seems to
that.
play even worse. So, if that's the effect of the booing, that he gets more uptight, more incapable.
But doesn't he get paid millions of dollars to take the heat? And isn't it a fan's
He
right
doesn't
to
get
boo?
paid
You pay
to
the 40
take the heat. He
Sure
gets
he does.
paid to be a quarterback.
All the quarterbacks, as you well know in this town,
Have to take the
Bradshaw,
heat.
right?
That's right. Well, that's
We've all
fine.
said that.
But I think the fans need to acknowledge that it could be that they are not helping. And they are being selfish. They are being, hey, I need to emote, man. I paid the ticket prices. When you really start talking to fans about why they're doing it, you know what you get? You know what you get? You start hearing about money. They're making this many million.
True.
And so there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of sour grapes
Envy,
there. Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to, can you imagine if you're having a not great show?
Like tonight.
That's right.
No, it's a
if
great
people were to come in and start booing at you in the corner, would that help you do a better show?
No.
If people were like making faces and holding up signs?
No, I agree. In fact, my old producer would constantly like yawn in my ear if he thought the show was going poorly and the little thing in my ear. And no, I admit it did not lift my spirits. Didn't make the show go any better. Fortunately, now in the control room, they're just like dolts who just stare at themselves and, you know, scratch their heads and...
Booing your own team is counterproductive.
So, all right, we only got like 1 minute left. Is there anything, do you have any thoughts about, as we approach the millennium, do you have big plans on New Year's Eve? I have to be on the 6th Street Bridge with Fedco freezing my butt off. I'm looking forward to that.
I bought my champagne in October just to make sure, because, you know, they keep telling you they're going to sell out.
You are smart.
I intend to be asleep before midnight.
You do not.
Come on. My kids are so excited that I'm going to let them stay up.
My son says that he wants to stay up, but I might go to sleep and let him stay up.
Yeah.
You got any big plans, Shark Boy?
Nope.
You're not going to do anything?
Oh, I'm going to do something. I have no idea. It'll include a lot of drinking.
Let's get together and play Pokemon.
It'll include a lot of drinking. What kind of an example was that to set for your little young Republicans out there with little crew cuts waiting to take over the world?
Cheers.
I was prepared to go to New Orleans, but since Penn State faltered by the way of the Steelers, I have to cancel that trip.
So nobody cares. You guys don't care that it's the so-called millennium or whatever, the big deal. It's a turning point in the history of the human race. And
I think most thinking people will be glad when it's over.
Because they won't have to think anymore? I mean,
because they won't have to be, you know, be fed and be seized, and yes, by this nonsense.
I am feeling a little stressed. Like my life just isn't significant enough to bear the weight of this holiday.
And the new century. You may not be able to take it. It could be a different
century,
world.
new millennium, new year. I just want to check out.
Well, don't forget this Sunday night on Channel 11, there's a big Y2K movie to scare the hell out of you and get you in the mood for the millennium. Lynn, Kent, Ruth Ann, thank you so much. You were scintillating as always.
Thanks for having us.
Great pleasure.
A commentary straight ahead as my voice continues to die. On Free for All Night, stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's commentary. You know what I really hate about government people? I'll tell you, the first thing they do after they get into office is worry about one thing, office. Specifically, their actual offices. What kind of furniture do we have? Can we get new stuff? Do I have a view? Hey, newly elected government humans, how about you govern for a while? Try not to screw things up. Try to accomplish something. Prove yourself to we humans who elected you, and then worry about improving your space. So the newly elected city council dudes, or county council dudes, I should say, and dudettes, they go on a little tour of the old county commission chambers, and it seems our $9,000 a year masters of deep thought, who, God help us, are leading us into the millennium, aren't exactly smitten with their new surroundings. Dave Fawcett, a guest on this program just a few days ago, who clearly, like most of the rest of them, hasn't a freaking clue of what the hell's going on at this point, tells the Pittsburgh Post-Gazoo, it's noisy, it's ugly, it has no grandeur, or anything positive. And he was talking about the Gold Room, the government hall, which was good enough for Mo, Larry, and Curly, the outgoing commissioners. Dave, who says your $9,000 butt deserves anything approaching grandeur? When exactly did this part-time post achieve royalty status? When you're the King of England, demand grandeur or lop off some heads. When you're one of 15 prince and princesses of Allegheny County, shut the hell up and try not to blow it. Jan Ray, a councilwoman from McCandless, told the PG, I think it's important that we establish a place for ourselves. Yo, Jan, one word, cubicles. Get some dividers, sit your butt down, and get to work. Let's divide up the Gold Room 15 ways and be done with it. Jumpin' Johnny DeFazio was quoted as saying, what do we want? Offices. When do we want them? Now. Johnny, you already have an office. You're a union big shot. Why not save the taxpayers some money and work out of it? Or here's a radical notion for everybody. Work at home. Get a tax break. Save us some freaking money. But I haven't even gotten to the height of absurdity yet. County Executive-elect Jim Roddy, the normally level-headed, mild-mannered, common-sense sort of guy, is proposing to start a private fund drive so these muttonheads will be happy with their surroundings. Now, you got to credit Mr. Roddy with not proposing to waste actual taxpayers' money on this foolishness, but could we just stop worrying about the perks and office space and govern the damn county? County? As far as I'm concerned, Jumpin' Johnny and the gang need to take a flying leap back to reality. You haven't earned any perks yet. Sit down, shut up, govern. That's commentary tonight, ladies and germs. David Johnson joining us momentarily with the 10 o'clock news. You don't have an office, David.
Speaking of which, I was just going to say, I have a little part of the big newsroom, and
Right,
it's
little
not cordoned off or anything.
But you get your work done, don't you? You type up your news stories.
You, however, sir,
I have a dumpy little office
you
next
have
to the
the
prop
former
room.
Jonesy office. Before that, you were like the receptionist at PCNC.
Exactly. I was the little receptionist in the little hallway, and when before they could give anybody else's office, as you know, I commandeered the place before they could give it to anybody else.
Right.
This is just some fascinating inside, behind-the-scenes sort of insider baseball stuff.
And the last I checked, I think you are making $9,000. So that's
that's with the new
good.
contract, by the way.
That's
It's
the
up
new
from
pack.
6.
That's the new deal you just inked.
So you got some. I guess we got to go, but you got some cool news like deaths and fires and people getting hit with trains.
You
and,
name
know.
it.
Great.
Exactly. That and more.
David Johnson, Johnny Fedko, Dennis Bowman, and the whole Hee Haw gang straight ahead with the 10 o'clock news. We'll see you Monday with a really good show. Tuesday, the Rossies, the Reverend Rossi and his wife. See you then.